Talk, shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Welcome to October 2, Cruise Control. October is my annual tradition of celebrating films in horror franchises in their second entries. Why October 2? Because this is the second year I've done it. Why Cruise Control? I'm going to make these a little more rapid fire videos than I did last year. If you did not have a subscription to my channel last year, click on that playlist at the end of the video and watch all my October videos I did last year. Let us get into October 2, Cruise Control. Welcome back to October 2, Cruise Control. On today's episode, I am going to be briefly going over my thoughts of TOBE HOOPER'S Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. The buzz is back.
Yeah, I watched this one with my wife. She had never seen it. She was not a fan. Basically, the entire movie is people yelling and screaming for 101 minutes.
What the hell's going on here?
I actually have a lot of fun with this movie. You need to be in the right mindset to watch it compared to the first one, which is a landmark horror film. It always has been, essentially, since it came out. It is a down and dirty, realistic, creepy, terrifying movie with this cannibalistic family that is inspired by the real-life Ed Gein. Really, even though it's nothing like the Ed Gein murders specifically, the furniture and little artsy-fartsy bone sculptures that are found among the house are based on stuff Ed Gein did. So it's inspired in that sense. But he never ran around with a face and a chainsaw hacking people up. That's 100% TOBE HOOPER. This one, on the other hand, is almost a miracle it got made. The lovely Canon Films, who I've talked about many times in my Superman 4 video or my Ninja 3 video, they gave TOBE HOOPER free reign to do whatever he wanted for this sequel that came, I believe, 12 years after the original. The original was apparently, according to Toby, supposed to be sort of a dark comedy. It has bits and pieces there that are kind of funny, but not ha-ha funny. It's not something you watch when you want to laugh. Let's put it that way. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, on the other hand, is very much a comedy. This movie is a horror comedy. That's the definition you could... It's essentially... I always want to say it's almost the same movie, but it really isn't. But it's very similar. You take the same family, give or take a couple characters that get changed. You have Leatherface's back, but he's a big doofy weirdo. This movie's lead is Caroline Williams, who plays Stretch, a radio DJ, Chop Top's favorite.
It's the DJ, my fave. That dirty thing.
Chop Top is played by Bill Moseley, who's basically Leatherface's, what do they call it, hype man? There we go. His introduction is classic. It is icky as hell. I love it. He's constantly lighting a metal coat hanger with a lighter and scratching his head with it and then picking off the skin and eating it because cannibals, only to be found out that he has a giant metal plate in his head, which is hilarious. So he's picking the skin away from his metal plate. The dad is in it still. And then it's pretty much just those three and Grandpa, who just is essentially a corpse at this point. The opening of this film is one of the most fun opening sequences in any movie ever. It's Leatherface in a car, wearing a dead body, swinging his chainsaw around, attacking a car with these two college students who are just having a rip-roaring good time. And he's just manhandling their car and chopping their heads off while driving on a bridge, all to the music of Oingo Boingo. Danny Elfman, I love it. Dennis Hopper in this movie is batshit crazy.
Boys.
What the hell's going on here?
I'm the Lord of the Harvest.
He's the relative of someone who was killed in the first film, seeking revenge, essentially. So he's there to destroy this family's underground, weird, haunted tunnel, cannibal sausage chili making factory. It's a really weird premise. But the art direction in this movie is not, I wouldn't say it's good art direction, but it is very interesting and bizarre. The whole movie just seems like a fantasy almost. There's this really weird scene where Leatherface has her trapped in a weird room with like a cooler full of ice, and he's like chainsawing towards her crotch with this very large chainsaw, and it like dies on him, and he's like kind of stroking her leg with it, and she's like asking him like, "Are you good?" and whatever. And yeah, like I said, my wife was not into this movie. She's like, "This is really obnoxious." I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of is." Like I said, it's just a movie of people yelling and screaming for 100 minutes. So if you're not in the right mood for it, you're not going to want to watch it. She happens to look up at this moment. She's like, "Is he masturbating?"
Good.
And I was like, "Yeah, kinda." Yeah. I guess this is as close as Leatherface would be getting to masturbating is what's happening here. But it's a weird, fun scene. The whole movie is just a weird, fun, loud, screamy, obnoxious, bloody time. If you're a fan of the original one, you might like this movie. If you hate the original one, you might like this movie because it's so different. You don't need to see the original to see this movie. The only characters from the first film that are in this movie are the family. Like the surviving character from the original film is not in this movie at all in any capacity whatsoever. We have Stretch instead, essentially. She is that character in this film, and it's basically just her. It's that her other DJ buddy who gets taken out pretty early, let's just put it that way, and her trying to escape this weird underground tunnel, and Dennis Hopper getting his revenge. He's like chopping through the support beam, screaming and singing the whole time.
Bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. Oh, shut up! Bringing in the sheaves.
Yeah, it's fun. There's chainsaw fights in it, like in Mandy. Like it totally got that from this movie, I think. Except the chainsaws were even bigger in Mandy, which is impressive. Those are some big ass chainsaws. But yeah, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you're a fan of weird, goofy horror comedies that are gross and excessive and just loud and just batshit crazy, you'll get a kick out of this movie. Like I said, if you've seen the original one and you like it, give it a chance. If you hate the original one, give it a chance just on the off chance you have a better time with it. But the whole thing kind of feels like a weird, fantastic drug trip of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. So because of that, I kind of like it. I don't like it nearly as much as the original. Yes, the original one is cheap and the acting is bad. But this one is also cheap, but it just looks prettier. And the acting is bad, but in a different kind of way. It's like in an over-the-top scene chewing way. I still have to see the third one and the fourth one. I own the fourth one, the one with Academy Award winners Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, so I'll watch that soon. But I'd like to see the third one first, even though I probably don't need to, let's be honest. And I love the remake. I'd love to see that one again. In the scheme of all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies I've seen, this is probably my third favorite out of the 5 or so. I prefer the original one and the remake to this, but if you want to watch a Texas Chainsaw movie that is completely different than most of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, this is the one you go to. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Once again, my name is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. I hope you're enjoying October 2 Cruise Control. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Talk, shop, pop, movies.